welcome at the Things conference. A new video interview, a new guest. Who are you and what do you do?
I'm Wienke Giezeman. I'm co-founder and initiator of the Things Network.
Yes, because this is your network and this is your conference, right?
Yeah. That's we always had the idea to do a conference for the Things Network because you and I are like flying all around the world, and then maybe we thought, hey, let's turn it around and just ask if people around the world wanted to come over to us. And we've got people from Chile, Brazil, US. The community TTN initiator of Mexico City, somebody from New Zealand, Australia, India, Tokyo, Japan. So it's really amazing. I think even less than 25% of the people here are Dutch. So it's really international thing.
And does that mean that LoRa is truly an international initiative, or
I think it's a very young technology. It's 2.5 years old, and I think it gains international interest. So where you see that, for instance, the Netherlands and Switzerland are really ahead with deployments and companies and ecosystem. But you see a lot of curiosity around the world because actually in other pieces of the world, LoRaWAN is way more interesting because we already have our networks, so we have alternatives. Right, so we have alternatives for wireless connectivity. In a lot of other countries, you don't even have an alternative, and now all of a sudden you can build this network yourself. And that is the core strength of LoRaWAN, is that you can have these pieces of connectivity, having carrier grade capabilities, but now you can control it yourself and build the solutions yourself. And that's really what you that's why probably. What we do is way more interesting in India than here, but that always comes a bit later there, of course. Yeah.
Now, it's still a young technology, but and you have a great overview because you organize this conference. So where are we at? If you would say, where's LoRa at?
So LoRaWAN is now 2.5 years old, just like the Things Network, and it's gradually maturing. My opening talk was really about getting real with IoT. And also saying that LoRaWAN is actually moving past the hype, which is a good thing, right? But after the hype, we have this trough of disillusionment, and it means actually that the only way forward for LoRaWAN is down, and we need to get real. And if we're really critical to what we now see as products on the market, the quality is just not good enough. So the LoRaWAN promise is having a device that lasts long on a battery. Right, so that it's very cheap to operate because you don't need to replace the battery. It's low cost and it's long range. Right, so these features they all eventually need to be embedded in this sensor device that is part of an end-to-end solution that brings business value. But the components there are not yet the real LoRaWAN promise, and it's not yet really leveraging the capabilities that this beautiful technology has. So I think LoRaWAN is one of the most mature, low power wide area network technologies, and it's just really a matter of time until the ecosystem matures, and great quality products hit the market. And there are already a few there, but that's just a matter of time until that comes. So that's also the reason why I say we need better products. Within the capabilities of LoRaWAN, so we need better developers. So we need to educate developers. We need to lower the barrier to entry for developers. We need to get better tools. We need to that's why we open sourcing a lot. And this is an example about a global traction of developers around the world interested, coming together, sharing what they do, to actually build an ecosystem that creates these solutions and products.
So you mentioned that there's already some solutions that you can see that are already great, but need to be greater. But do you have some great solutions, applications of LoRaWAN that you say these are really exemplary for what we can do?
Yeah, I think with regard to the business perspective, you have a few, for instance, example now everybody gives a smart mousetrap because it's a direct operational cost savings. There's a return on investment of a few months, and that is a very good example for that. Then of course we have a lot of environmental stuff. So for instance, we're doing radioactivity sensing meters in Japan, Somebody in Oxford in the UK is doing high-level measurements of canals. Some very other interesting use cases, building management. So everywhere in the world we have like companies that build buildings, and then you have companies that operate buildings. But the ones that invest in the building, they have way more different requirements than the one that operates. So what you now see is that, for instance, the climate control in buildings, it's actually made by the person that only builds it and then sells it. But the one that operates it wants to lower the operational costs, and all of a sudden there's a need for a like independent sensor network in these buildings to optimize the operational cost of these buildings. So there's all this kind of like opportunities in the market, and people sometimes ask me like, what's the killer app? But there is no real killer IoT app. It's the killer ecosystem, right? It's the combination of sensors building a smart building. It's the combination of sensors that make a smart city, and that is just gradually growing and growing and growing. And the examples are already like there, so it's moving in the right direction.
Well, the fact already that there's so many people who get it here in this conference means that there things are happening right now. But there's also a lot of talk about things that should improve or should be added to the technology. I heard things about geo location, about over-the-air updates, etc. From your perspective, what is really needed to move forward, apart from the fact that we need more developers and more good products?
Yeah, I think on a total ecosystem is like generally available geolocation, what now is being launched with Colos and by Semtech is, I think, a very interesting initiative. Firmware over-the-air updates is just a requirement, and it's just a matter of time until regulators are actually gonna force every IoT manufacturer to have some kind of over-the-air update mechanism. So that's really for the long-term security of the ecosystem is very important. What we do as the Things Network as improvement is now we have the network is built out of all gateways, right? But all these gateways are now routed to a central organization called the Things Network. So actually we're not fully complying with our vision, right? Because we want to build a decentralized network. So what we're now doing is we're allowing people not to also run their own network servers and then opt in for network collaboration from the network server part. So then actually you can manage your own gateways, manage your own network server, managing your own security keys, having your own chain, and actually then pairing with the rest of the network by allowing traffic to go over your gateways, but also leveraging traffic that goes over the gateways of the community. And this brings two interesting opportunities. First of all, it further decentralizes the networks, which makes it the foundation of the Things Network even stronger, because then it's more distributed, there's more parties involved, more people have a vested interest, and this is also how the internet got created, right? Because more people were involved. And the second one is that if you as a business want to start, what you can do is set up your own stack of software components and the gateways, and then you can control the complete quality of service, or you can outsource that. So one of the business models of our company behind the Things Network, the Things Industries, is providing these stacks as a software as a service, and then like growing the network with components that actually run on an SLA. And and that way of growing and allows people to get in control of the quality of service and level of security, because we also allow everybody to manage their own keys. And basically, that's the most important thing in IoT is key management. So on all levels. So the key management is that you take care of your good care of your username and passwords, which are your keys. But with devices, it's the same. It needs to be managed properly. And it's also needs to be managed in a way that I don't need to lend out my keys to everybody, because everybody in the supply chain needs to make my device work. So there's now something new that calls the joint server. It like processes the keys and handles the keys. We also made an open source component of that, and you can run that yourself. So you have your own key box, running your own keys. All the data over the open networks are going encrypted, and only your software components that do the LoRaWAN decoding and decryption can actually access your keys. Actually what you're making is an internet that's open and it's secure because you have end-to-end encryption.
Well, that's an interesting remark you make there, because you refer to how the internet was built, and one of the comments you read these days or hear these days is that well, when the internet was born, it was just academics and they were just they were good friends and everything is going to be all right, and but there were some design flaws actually in how the internet was built that we're suffering from these days and are quite hard to correct. Is that something that you discuss also as part of the LoRa Alliance, etc.? Is it something that you discuss or try to work on?
One thing is that encryption, end-to-end encryption, is embedded in the LoRaWAN protocol, so it's already embedded in the transport protocol, so to say. So that is already like some improvement, on a peering level. In the end, what you're trying to do is to apply the principles of the internet and making it very open. I mean, I think there you can have a very large debate on if the current internet is flawed or not. But yeah, definitely a lot of these. I mean, there's been going a lot of thought by the technical BD of LoRa Alliance to make this protocol really an internet protocol, and not so much a mobile operator protocol.
Yeah, but also, for instance, like one of the big flaws people say about the internet is the internet is open, but on top of it, you have Facebook, you have Google. Basically, these are commercial internets on top of an open infrastructure, whereas where we all leave our data and have no control about it and have no idea what's done with it. Are you discussing these things together, or is it just something?
I think that the debate there is like, what's the street and what are the shops, and are the shops becoming, or like the malls, are shops becoming malls and are becoming the like dominant players that actually then determine how the streets is going to look like. That is of course happening in the internet right now. I think the interesting thing of IoT that is fragmented, but it's actually, I think technology like LoRaWAN is actually preventing that to happen, because you already see these large silos like Google with Nest, right? You have like Alexa with Google, and then you have now Siri and your HomePod. So you already have these like huge silos that are like actually quite closed to interface with, and only are they able to interface with if they get more data from you, then there's a data business case for them. And I think a technology like LoRa and LoRaWAN really allows to build these decentralized networks and have like everybody contribute, but not so much being forced by dominant players that force it. But in the end, it's there's always that like there's no. I don't really think there are systems as we build as humans that are resilient towards like one dominant player. I mean, we see it in crypto happening as well. It's going to happen in AI as well. It's happening in finance, it's happening in politics. But so yeah, it's a broader discussion, I think. But right. I think an open technology really contributes to having an open street. Yeah.
So now this is the first Things conference. I guess there will be next year another Things conference,
so we're gonna
bigger and better.
Yeah, we're gonna. So we actually sold out in already 3 weeks ago. Well, usually for a conference you sell like 40% of your tickets the last 2 weeks. So we have now 600 people. I think we could have easily hit 1,000. So next year we're definitely gonna do it bigger. I think we can do between 2,000 and 3,000 people. And the next one conference is the Things Network on Tour. We're gonna do. We're working on doing 6 editions in the US, one in Zurich and one in Tokyo and one in Sydney. So we hope to have that done this year. And this is a great way to really like bring this ecosystem together. And like, it's nice to meet each other online, but yeah, luckily nothing beats just meeting face to face. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of happy people here, and I'm really happy with what we and the team, especially the conference team, built here.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching. On the YouTube channel there are many more videos to see with interviews with great guests from the Things conference. Watch them all.